This is Miceál O'Hurley reporting for Diplomacy in Ireland, the European diplomat. I'm reporting from inside Ukraine. Following press guidelines, I'm not disclosing our geolocation. I'm embedded with the SHTURM, Special Purpose Battalion. It's a Marine Special Operations Battalion. They've seen heavy combat in the first days of the war. Now that Russia has pulled its troops back to concentrate on an offensive in the east that is now being launched, there is a small respite for this unit. Instead of relaxing and recuperating, they've committed themselves to daily training. The men and women of this unit are highly dedicated volunteers. Not a single one of them is paid. Formed by a cadre of combat veterans from Donetsk and Luhansk, they took on volunteers in the first days of the war and helped defend Kyiv and the surrounding area. They've captured many vehicles, Russian soldiers that they've turned over for interrogation and humanitarian treatment as prisoners of war, and they took out a number of vehicles, units, and personnel of the Russian army. Their spirits are high, but the question remains, why doesn't Europe appreciate that they're defending Europe from Russian invasion as much as they're defending Ukraine? To win this conflict, started by Russia 8 years ago, Ukraine will need the continued support of the West, and that includes weapon systems, ammunition, and continued supplies. The commitment of the West to make those available is questionable. There have been large commitments made publicly, but the amount of weapons reaching the front lines is limited. The supplies on hand will maintain the Army, the Marines, and the Navy for a short period, but not for a long-duration conflict. European capitals must come to grips with their role in this conflict and do their best to make sure that Ukrainians have what they need not only to sustain their country, but to push back the Russian forces so that they do not threaten the rest of Europe. As Vladimir Putin has made clear over the last few days, he is not beyond threatening the Nordic countries, the Baltics, and all former lands where the Soviet Union previously had influence in Europe. This would be detrimental to the future of the European Union and NATO, and the European way of life, and certainly a blow to the rule of law. For now, these Marines are dedicated to continuing to defend Ukraine and pushing back the Russian defenders so that they can return to their civilian lives and to their families and rebuild their nation. You can now hear the air raid sirens blaring in the background. The region continues to come under Russian attack as a retribution for the sinking of the Moskva and as a declaration of Russia's intent to continue to wage war on the entirety of Ukraine. This is Miceál O'Hurley reporting for Diplomacy in Ireland, the European diplomat, from inside Ukraine, embedded with the SHTURM Special Purpose Battalion.